On weigh-in this morning, she had quite the build-up, but nothing was stopping Captured by Love in a glamour Guineas performance. The Pitmans get their black-type win of Cup Week, with Mystic Park impressive in winning the Stewards. Marvellous Mezzabine completes the Metropolitan New Zealand Cup double with a storming finish. And I head down to Whanganui as Lisa Allpress opens up about the struggles she's faced following a fall in August. Morning to you on your Sunday. Welcome into another edition of Weigh-In, of course, after Guineas Day and New Zealand Cup Day down in Riccarton, completing the Cup Carnival down there in Christchurch. Emily Murphy, you were down there. Looked like you got 4 seasons throughout the week as well. How was it?
Yeah, we did. The first day was obviously lovely and warm. The second day was very windy and cold. And the third day was cold but not windy. No, it was a great week all round. Some fabulous racing, some great crowds, great atmosphere. And I'll be honest, I'm going to go home for a lie down. I won't get that because it's 2 children. I'm going to go home for a rest this afternoon after a massive week.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just thought it was a perfect close to what was an enormous week of racing. I thought we saw some wonderful performances on the track. Obviously, I think highlighted by Captured by Love's win in the 1,000 Guineas, the 7th win for the Te Akau banner in the race, which is an incredible feat within itself. She was a filly that, you know, there was a lot of talk about building up into the race, and they've established a bit of a rivalry, her and Alabama Lass. So I thought it was a great result to the feature race of the day.
Yeah, and Te Akau are just starting to find their feet, it seems, in terms of stakes races this season, that's for sure. Well, we will take you back to yesterday and relive that 1,000 Guineas win by Captured by Love.
Captured by Love, picking up ground. Alabama Lass, the leader. Canelo wide out, getting shut out of it. Kitty Flash. Captured by Love, coming after Alabama Lass. Love Poem on the outside. Alabama Lass, she's getting tired, but she's holding from Captured by Love and Love Poem. Captured by Love's now gone to the lead at the 100 from Alabama Lass and moving out, but it's going to be Te Akau again. Captured by Love wins the 1,000 Guineas from Alabama Lass, moving out, 4th across Love Poem, and then came Canelo. Oh, she's the perfect Valentine, isn't she? Josh Parr and Mark Walker and Sam Burgess in with the Written Tycoon filly. She just kept trucking.
It hasn't been the ideal preparation, honestly. So fair play to her. She took a really good filly to win today on the preparation she's had. Obviously a fantastic ride by Josh, and just a massive thank you to the team at home. Had a bit of extra TLC these last couple of weeks, and you know, it's fantastic to see her do that performance today. It's a massive thrill.
A Group 1 victory in New Zealand. I feel great. I'm so excited. 2 years ago I came here to ride it this Cup Week, and the final day didn't go well at all. And I was sure that I was going to get back here and try and just fix up what happened that week. So I think I may well have done that just now.
Yeah, it was a very good win by Captured by Love, who had quite the build-up to this race. We're very lucky to be joined by Sam Burgesson now live on the show. Sam, thanks for jumping on, particularly the morning of an All Blacks test. We'll touch a little bit more on Captured by Love shortly, but I just want to talk about the day yesterday in total. Captured by Love, Mezzabine, and also Mel Maison getting the job done. You really tied off Cup Week in pretty fine style.
Yeah, obviously a fantastic day for the whole team. It's obviously a carnival we always look forward to it and target, and especially with having a permanent South Island base down there now. Hunter and Ashlyn and the whole team down there, you know, they've put in a lot of work over the last couple of months, as the team up north have as well. And, you know, days like yesterday certainly make it worthwhile.
Sam, you mentioned in your post-race interview about the preparation not quite going as you anticipated. That must be really hard as trainers to pivot and move and do the right thing by the horse. Just talk to me about the build-up to the race and what were your expectations on Saturday?
Yeah, well, it was sort of, we were hopeful but not confident just with how the preparation had gone. Like, you know, we went to Hawke's Bay first up and we were beaten fair and square by Ken's filly. Then we took her back to Hawke's Bay. They called the races off. We went to Matamata home track. She just got a bit fractious, blew the start, and was fantastic late. Went to Te Rapa to take on the boys again, and they called the races off. And then we went to Tiara, and it rained on the day, and the track just sort of cut out a bit, and she just couldn't quicken on it. So And she came out of that run. She was sort of battling a few aches and pains, and we were sort of, battling with her a little bit, and we were mindful that, when things don't go to plan, it's always sort of hard to bring them back and get them back to 100%. So, she, like I sort of said in the post race, she had a bit of extra TLC. The team were working night and day on her, and to see her perform like that yesterday, I know the owners were very patient, and they were sort of getting a little bit frustrated because she was going out these short price favourites and kept getting beaten. But I suppose we always kept the faith in her. Opie galloped her on Tuesday morning on the course proper before she flew down on Wednesday, and he sort of gave her the tick of approval and said, this is the best she's galloped in a long time. And she travelled down super, didn't miss a beat in the feed bin, and was very bright and well and sound. And I sort of looked at her before the race, and I thought she was ready to go. But then sort of always you had that doubt in the mind because it had gone wrong, the whole way through the prep a little bit. So, it was more, I suppose it was such a thrill, but it was also relief at the same time.
I'd really like to know, Sam, what your thought processes were in those last couple of weeks building up to the Group 1. Mark Walker's sort of come forward in the media and said he spent a lot of time in Melbourne over the spring and he probably hasn't been as hands-on in the stable. So the responsibility has landed on your shoulders. What has that been like?
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure. Like, I feel like I aged a lot in the last 2 weeks. I was sort of, especially with her, she was keeping me up at night, and sort of Mark and Dave, they always sort of drill into me, you've got to think outside the square, especially when it's not going right or something, you think you can do it a little bit better. It's easy to sort of do the standard Tuesday, Thursday, race Saturday, things like that. So, I sat down with Mark and we had a really good, multiple chats about it, really, about her and how we could get her to be there 100%, with in mind with the prep she's had, a couple of trips to the races where she didn't race, a couple of off tracks, I suppose, and I sort of said she was battling a couple of aches and pains, and she probably wasn't 100% following Tiara, but she sort of just improved day by day slowly, and I can't thank the team at home enough, both up north and down south. They did a fantastic job with her, just a day like yesterday, and to see her do that, it was just a huge thrill.
These are live shots of Captured by Love at the Tiakau barn down south, so great that we can get that live vision. Sam, all things going well, she would have won at Matamata. She wins here at Riccarton after quite the build-up, as we've spoken about. Where do you think she could get to? What's kind of the ultimate goal with her, do you think?
Yeah, we sort of got to sit down and have a bit of a team talk. So she's going to have sort of 10 days off now, and then probably a week at the water treadmill, and we'll get her back in the stable up north, build her back up. There's a trial meeting at Matamata on the 14th, so she'll probably trial there, and then we'll map out her autumn, whether it's, you think it'd probably be in Melbourne now that she's got that Group 1 in New Zealand, and to add, that extra value to her, that Australian black type's obviously probably the main goal now, and we think she's more than capable to go over there and match it with the best of them over there. Obviously, it's not easy, but as you saw yesterday when she's on song, she's fantastic.
Hunter's given her the thumbs up this morning. She certainly looks fantastic. She looks like she's pulled up really well from the run. If we go back to yesterday and talk specifically about the race, I thought a wonderful, coup for Tiakau to get Josh Parr to return to New Zealand to ride the filly. Talk us through the run, because he did everything right, didn't he?
Yeah, that's obviously, like you say, it is fantastic to get a jockey of his calibre over. Like you said, post-race, he came 2 years ago, and we probably didn't have the best carnival. And then I think that meeting on the last day for him got called off, and he couldn't ride on the Monday. So we sort of went out with no real instructions for him. We just said, look, give her a really good warm-up at the start, and just where you land. I think as long as you're sort of flowing and get into a nice rhythm and building. And we sort of, with the track being a little bit wetter, we weren't too worried about Alabama getting too far off her. So it just sort of panned out lovely for him. He obviously got one off there with cover. She built so lovely into the race. He obviously had to switch back to the inside. And I sort of said to him post-race, were you always like confident of picking her up? And he sort of said, across from the 500 to the 300, it sort of gets a little bit wetter over the junction there, and she sort of paddled a little bit, but then sort of when he went for her, she really picked up, and sort of when she went up beside him, he was really confident. And then he said that you sort of that last 100 metres, you sort of see her there, she cocks the ears and has a good look around. So you know, it was fantastic to see her win like that.
Sam, that's a pretty comfortable win when they can prick the ears. They're not fully extended, are they? You mentioned the South Island team and what they do. We saw some vision there of Hunter Durant, but I guess with the focus being on the South Island, it's hard to run a satellite stable, and you must have some really good people in place to be able to trust them to do the job for you.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned Hunter. I can't speak highly enough of him. He's such a capable young man. You know, a fantastic horseman. Yeah, a fantastic gallop rider as well, and his feedback's enormous. He's hard worker. You know, he's the first one there and the last to leave, and you know he's got a massive future in the industry. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. As was Ashlyn Lee down there. She led her in, and she's another fantastic young woman down there, and you know, a pleasure to have a part of, as well as the rest of the team. They're all working hard down there. You know, with having a lot of success out of that stable, and it's a reflection of their hard work and dedication. And you know, like you say, it is hard to get down there all the time. So you put a lot of faith in these people, and you know, they couldn't be doing a better job, really. So you know, Mark and I are extremely grateful for them, and you know, all the hard work they put in, and they certainly deserve results like they got yesterday.
Sam, I did mention in the intro that you had a couple of other wins yesterday, and one of them was fairly significant in Mezzabine in the New Zealand Cup. For a guy of, I suppose, relatively new in your training career, what does it mean to you to be able to win a New Zealand Cup? So many famous names have been able to train a winner in the New Zealand Cup. What did that mean to you to get the job done with Mezzabine?
Oh, it was massive. Obviously, like an iconic race of New Zealand racing. And I suppose to train a winner over 2 miles as well, I think it's quite difficult, and it's sort of a real juggling act to get them fit without taking too much sort of speed out of their legs, and it takes the right horse to do it, I suppose. Grillsy was fantastic. Obviously, he missed the ride the week before, missing weight, and was sort of a little bit worried there, but he sort of reassured us that he wasn't going to do it again, and you know, he's been riding a heap of work for us up north, and he's a fantastic bloke to deal with as well. So it was really cool to win it with him as well. He's an absolute champion, and he's, you know, he had a really good association with Tiakau, and a massive thank you to the owners. Danny Ralston bought the horse at Karaka for relatively cheap, and they've got a really good ownership group, very keen horse people, they're on a massive ride at the moment. Like, sort of things hadn't gone her way. At times, she was very stiff in the Metropolitan last year, and she sort of was getting back off them and sort of running into a bit of trouble in some of her races. But yeah, she's certainly putting it together now, and you know, it should hopefully be onwards and upwards for her. There's plenty of nice racing over the summer and autumn, especially those sort of cups trips. So fingers crossed she can go on with it, because we think, you know, she'll stay all day.
Sam, something we learned about her during the week was that she can race handy, she can lead or even be close to the speed. When it came to Craig Grylls' ride on Saturday, after seeing what Sam Spratt was able to do the week before, were the instructions to be pretty handy in running?
Yeah, again, we sort of left it up to him a little bit. We sort of met the race that we definitely wanted to get cover with it being her first go at 2 miles. And we thought the best way to do that was to be a little bit positive and be forward of midfield. I didn't think he'd probably be as forward as he was, but it worked out perfect. I think it was Prince Albie crossed him, and he was 1-1, because she was probably a touch keen out in the open. And then once the horse crossed and he got the 1-1, she just went to sleep. She relaxes lovely. And I suppose when we watched the Metropolitan and she sort of shot out by sort of 2 or 3 lengths, I suppose the key was to get her to relax over the 2 miles. yeah, we sort of left it up to him a little bit, and thankfully he got it right, and it was awesome to see her lob up in the 1-1, and when she got to that position, we were quietly confident that she should be in the finish.
What about plans for her heading forward? Because no doubt there are some pretty nice options for her. When can punters expect to see her next?
So she's going out with Captured by Love, so they'll have 10 days off together, and then sort of probably come back via the water treadmill. So I don't think you'll see her in the very instant future, I suppose. We're just going to sort of sit down with the ownership group. I was just talking to Mark there this morning, and sit down with Danny and his team there, and then sort of map out a path for her. I think the main goal probably in the autumn's the Adelaide Cup. We think that'll be her real go, and then if she was to go well in the autumn, we'd love to get her to a Melbourne Cup. That'd be like the ultimate dream, I suppose, and especially for those owners as well. They're so excited with the ride she's taking them on at the moment. So yeah, plenty of nice cups here and overseas.
Alrighty, well, we very much look forward to building up to that. Hey, just quickly, Josh Parr, how long is he around for, and is he here for, say, something like Karaka Millions night?
Yeah, well, obviously we're always trying to get jockeys of his calibre over. I'm sure he'd be keen to, hopefully. It's just a hit and run mission there on Saturday. But yeah, he's a fantastic bloke, an ultimate professional. We sort of kept in touch with him throughout the last sort of couple of years when we got him over there last time. So yeah, we'd love to have him back if he's keen.
Alrighty, well, it was a pretty impressive hit and run mission, that's for sure. Hey, well done yesterday, Sam. Looks like Te Akeau's really hitting their straps in terms of stakes performances this season, which is a pretty ominous sign for everyone else. Well done, and good luck for everything else going forward. Awesome,
thanks guys, cheers for having me.
Good man. Sam Burgesson there from Te Akau. Well, we've talked about the 1,000 guineas, but we're going to delve into it a little bit more and kind of analyse it a bit more. Obviously won by Captured by Love from Alabama Lass, moving out then Love Poem. If we just take a look at the race again and the key moments here, Jane.
Look, I thought that Sam Spratt did a terrific job with Alabama Lass. Yeah. She moved around a little bit in the barrier and actually stepped away a little bit slowly, recovered, got into her rhythm really quickly. And I thought Sam actually got away with some really nice sectionals through the mid-stages of the race. Look, she probably didn't show the traditional kick at the top of the straight that we're used to seeing from Alabama Lass. In terms of the way the race was run, look, I don't think there were too many excuses for gallopers. Canelo sat wide throughout the trip, but got a little bit messy in the home straight, Emily, and there was a little bit of news out of the stewards room regarding that.
There certainly was. Obviously, we saw Kitty Flash impacted there in terms of a gap tightening. There was a couple of careless riding charges. Craig Grills got 6 days and Matt Cartwright got 8 days and a fine. So plenty to come out of it. Kitty Flash obviously spat out the back door. I don't know if she was potentially going well enough to feature in the race, or the top three certainly. Massive run from moving out. What was it, a third start or a fourth start? Third start to have run into that slashing Group 1 placing. Incredible stuff, and no doubt we'll be seeing more of the horse in the future. Yeah,
and well done to Bailey Rogerson as well, who rode her first Group 1 yesterday. But we're going to take you to the beaten connections, starting with Sam Spratt aboard Alabama Lass.
She was super brave. I think better track, she she could have probably given them a real close run for their money. She just struggled in the track, that's for sure.
Yeah, great run. Listen, she's very unexperienced, only had 2 runs. She obviously won very nicely last time on a soft track. So yeah, listen, the kind of plan was just to go out and ride her, to kind of finish in the first 4. She was kind of good enough, and yeah, she was in a nice rhythm. I was obviously drawn right next to the eventually winner, but I thought if I could just track Joe through, he should take me into the race nicely, and to be fair, it panned out really nicely, and the way the track is riding today obviously helped our filly. She's a nice big horse. I think she'll improve with time. She's a bit light framed. She'll fill out in the frame, and she should hopefully be a nice filly going forward, and hopefully they've got an Oaks filly that's got a chance,
Yeah, look, she was honest. She just feels to me she's coming to the end of the prep and the week back up. She'll still race a little bit greenly, but look, she's going to be a better horse when she finishes.
She won a really good race, I thought. I was stuck wide for most of the race, and I coped the check on top of the straight, so to run 50 was a good effort.
Yeah, she just misjudged the start a little bit, lunged at the gates before we opened, but we got a nice track into it and managed to weave through a couple up the straight, and she's plugged away quite nicely.
Yeah, had a good run sitting outside the leader. She travelled well. Probably just hit the 600 when the leader sort of quickened up the tempo, got me off the bridle, and it wasn't real comfortable on the ground, and sort of really got the stuffing knocked out of me halfway down. It just really extinguished any chance.
Look, she run below par today, but she's come to the end of her preparation. She's a lovely filly. She's come a long way in a short period of time, so proud of her in that sense, and she looked a picture today, but yeah, she'll come back a really nice filly for the team.
That was the beaten jockeys out of the 1,000 guineas, of course, won by Captured by Love. We'll take a quick break here on Weigh In. On the other side, we look at all the other New Zealand racing.
Aquarello keeps giving. Too clear now from third decree and Goldie's chance. It's Aquarello at the 100 metres. A length and a half clear from third decree and Goldie's chance. But Aquarello wins the Breeders.
She's a beautiful type of mare. She's only going to get better too as she gets deeper into the season. So exciting mare to have, and great to get another winner for Brett and Sherry. Great supporters at the stable.
I knew she was the best in it, just how good she was, and she was too good.
It's perfect scenario. He's a doozy. Matt Scott and Kapua coming at it. He's a doozy. Kapua. Matt Scott in the centre. Four-way go. It's Kapua. Kapua steals the show. Kapua wins the TAB mile.
Great ride from Lily. Needed the ride of the race from where she was, and she just come out at the right time and put us home too strong.
Good on you, Miss Lily.
Oh, for sure. Like, they've been so supportive of me, and it's sort of good to ride a winner like that for the whole family, you know.
Yes, indeed. Aquarello winning the Canterbury Breeders and Kopua winning the TAB mile there. That, of course, updates our middle distance series, the Richhill Stud middle distance series leaderboard. And Kopua, El Vencedor, One Bold Cat, Snazzy Tavi and Matt Scott now all on 5 points, Emily.
Yes, it's really shaping up as quite the contest, isn't it? And Kapua obviously was a super fitting winner on Wednesday because by a Richhill Stud stallion, shocking obviously. So yeah, competitive at the top end and some nice races to follow. There's plenty over that summer period we'll be watching with interest.
Yeah, we'll certainly be updating that leaderboard as the season continues on, that is for sure. Alrighty, well obviously we had plenty of other big races from Riccarton, and the one that we already spoken to with Sam Burgesson about is the New Zealand Cup, won by Mezzabine from Beavertown boy Can He Rock and Just Charlie.
Coming wide, Mezzabine from Canny Rock. Beavertown boy 3 lengths away. Then came LJ, who's getting a gap. It is Just Charlie. Mezzabine in the deep going to it. Beavertown boy tracking her into the race. Getting through Canny Rock from Prince Elby. Lost Cause making a run as well. It might be Mezzabine narrowly. Beavertown boy levelling up the outside. Then came Canny Rock, who's been super brave. It's Mezzabine in front. She's a length clear from Beavertown boy. It's Mezzabine. Mezzabine wins the New Zealand Cup, getting away at the finish. Mezzabine beats home Beavertown boy. What about the run of Canny Rock? Oh my goodness, he's run third, Mezzabine. Craig Grills for Mark Walker and Sam Burgesson. The Metropolitan winner has been too good backing up here in the New Zealand Cup.
Oh, massive. Obviously, one of the iconic races of New Zealand racing. You know, to have the name on the trophies, a massive thrill for not only myself, but the whole team. A massive thank you to the team at home, obviously.
It's great to get New Zealand Cup for Mark and Sam, and congratulations to the owners.
Well, the Metropolitan seemed to be the perfect build-up to this race for many, including Mezzabine. Jane, very impressive win. Craig Grills got to the outside and bolted in.
Yeah, look, I thought the horse certainly put the writing on the wall in the Metropolitan. There's been a little bit of a chat about the way her career has unfolded. Of course, she was, I think, placed in a New Zealand Oaks as a 3-year-old. Things probably didn't go right for her in a 4-year-old campaign, but look, she's certainly found a purple patch of form, and I think obviously these staying trips are her forte. A daughter of El Manzor, she's out of a Zabeel mare. It's a first stakes winner for that breeding cross, but we've seen 18 runners for 9 winners, so it's certainly a cross that works really well. Excited to see her racing over these sort of trips, and I think that obviously hearing from Sam Burgesson, that is the plan with her going forward. Craig Rills rode a beautiful race. It was his second win in the New Zealand Cup. Look, Metropolitan was the right form line in terms of the race. I thought Beavertown Boy was really brave into second, and Canny Rock, Emily, tough run. We know he runs 3,200 metres and he came again on the line.
Yeah, you sort of have to go back and watch that again, because he obviously was keen in running, very keen in running, and was right there on speed, and then was headed up the straight and has really dug deep and fought back again, just an out-and-out stayer, and has done a really good job to pick up that placing. And I think Just Charlie's a really nice horse in the making, was also on that speed in that forward position, and I think heading forward, maybe it wasn't the New Zealand Cup for Just Charlie this year, but I think Just Charlie's a stayer we can watch going forward from the right stable, obviously the Kevin Myers stable, who had just such an incredible week.
You need a crystal ball, but Sam Burgesson did say that Mezzabine maybe to the Melbourne Cup is their ultimate goal. Do you see that as a realistic prospect?
Well, look, I think what she did yesterday was prove that she runs a really strong 3,200 metres. She kicked, she held to the line. I thought it was a really strong win out to that distance range. At the Adelaide Cup will be telling if they can get her to an Adelaide Cup next year. And there's no reason why you can't dream, particularly when you've got these stayers that can run a strong 3,200 metres. I think it's the ultimate for a lot of people getting a horse to a Melbourne Cup, and she's in the right stable, and I'm sure they'll put a plan together to try and get her there.
And I think there's other options. You know, the Melbourne Cup is obviously the pinnacle of staying races, but there's the Sydney Cup, which is an incredible race during the championships, which would be ideal for her as well. So there's so many options when it comes to targeting those races. There's Queensland Winter Carnival as well. I mean, there's so much on offer over there in so many different states. I think they're going to be spoilt for choice in terms of Cups races and where they can go.
Well, I dream all the time of having a runner in the Melbourne Cup, so dreams are free, aren't they? The other black type race on the card at Riccarton was the Stewards Stakes, won by Mystic Park.
Top of the straight in the Stewards, 4:50 to go south of Houston, a length in front. On the outside, going with it, Platinum Attack, sparse and wider. Getting into it, Illicit Dreams from the back, starting to charge as well, the Pegasus winner. Illicit Dreams swept up and hit the front. Going with it, Bellucci on the outside. And then came Mystic Park, who's getting through. It's Illicit Dreams in front from Mystic Park. Wider out, Bellucci. Mystic Park firing through now after Illicit Dreams, Mystic Park. It's Mystic Park, a local win in the Stewards. Mystic Park beats Illicit Dreams, third between Lincoln's Cruise and Bellucci. Wider out. He's a wicked horse, Mystic Park.
We think he's a bloody super horse, you know, excuse my language, but his work's been really good leading up to us, and I don't know, I need to speak to Entei, New Zealand TAB. If you want a horse to represent you, it's going to be a Group 1 winner by the end of January that likes any going. You can look no further.
I love this race, you know. I do really love it. This and the Telegraph, probably my 2 favourite races.
And you love this horse?
Oh, when I asked Sam to come and ride him, because I wanted to change, you know. And he asked me, he was walking out, when he first rode him, he said, how does this horse compare to Sentai? I said, no, he's way better. And he came in and he said to me, he said, you're right.
Proper horse, yep. And he's got up and won well. Look, he could quite possibly be a Group 1 horse in waiting. Great training performance. They've been good to me the whole way through. So thrilled for them to get a big winner during Cup week.
Yeah, so Mystic Park from Illicit Dreams, Bellucci and Lincoln's Cruise. A really good moment for the Pitmans and a big week for them, obviously, down in Riccarton. And we just heard from Sam Weatherly there. He got stuck in a pocket at about the 250 or 200 metre mark. I thought he did really well to get the horse out and pick it up again and win pretty impressively.
Yeah, it was going to be really unlucky, wasn't Mystic Park in running, but they were just able, Sam and Mystic Park were able to navigate off heels. And I just think for the horse to be able to pick up momentum again and go again is a really big feat. It's unlimited ability there with the weight as well. There was a lot of factors against Mystic Park, and I know the Pitmans had to wait for a winner, but I'd say it was worthwhile getting one of this calibre and a horse this exciting, because it didn't take the traditional route. They didn't race last week, obviously, in that Pegasus, and they've elected to come in fresh. You can just see there where the gap tightened and Sam's had to push through and regain the momentum again. Mystic Park's won pretty comfortably. I thought Illicit Dreams was very game in defeat, backing up a week later, obviously.
I think it's a really exciting staying prospect, this horse. They paid $40,000 for him at New Zealand Bloodstock Karaka Sales, which in hindsight looks like a pretty astute purchase. What I like about the way the Pitmans have handled this horse is that they've been really patient with him, and every time they've raised the bar, the horse has lifted to the occasion, and we saw that. It was his first attempt at stakes level yesterday. 7 wins now from 12 starts is a pretty incredible record. He hasn't finished out of the top, well, he's only finished out of the top 3 on 2 occasions. One of those was at a mile. So look, I think he's a horse that they can set the bar a little bit higher now, and I know that they'll be looking at perhaps a Telegraph or a Railway with the horse, but I like what I saw from him yesterday. He's a beautiful horse, isn't he, Emily? Yeah. He's got a lot of size, a lot of athleticism. He is probably a bit bigger and a bit more rangier than what we see in a typical stayer, and I just like what I saw from him. You've mentioned he had to carry the 59 kilos. He's getting 6 kilos away to horses like Illicit Dream and Bellucci, so to be able to pick himself up the way the race unfolded, I thought was just terrific. So I genuinely think we can get a little bit excited about this horse in terms of his sprinting prospects.
And obviously South Island horses have had such a good record in the Telegraph, coming across the straight and with the shoot at Trentham. I think it's really fitting, and that's a good launch pad for Mystic Park as to where they go from there, because there's nice sprints here in New Zealand, and obviously we've seen our sprinters now go across the Tasman and be competitive in Australia. So I know they mentioned the Everest in the post-race interview, and once they've got that Group 1 here in New Zealand, well, onwards and upwards from there.
Yeah, too right. Alrighty, well, that is the end of Riccarton, but just before we do leave it, there was one man in particular part of the coverage who was pretty fired up about the week, Greg O'Connor.
Palmer, Bellingham, Saka, Tony, Trent, pressure. What pressure?
I think this needs a bit of backstory, because
Please.
this is Greg O'Connor's daughter's TikTok, and it was the content we never knew that we needed. And she's 20, and she created Greg a little obviously video. I don't know what you call them, I'm too old, but so Greg works so hard during Cup Week. That's just a side note. He covers the harness and the gallops. There is, what, 60 odd plus races that he is covering throughout that week, and he did a stellar job. And it was a real treat for us yesterday on track, because he turned up to the races with this little beauty. It did, oh, it's crumbling. It came in a little packet. This is a Greg O'Connor biscuit that his daughter made and was handing out at Cup Week. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend.
Well, go on, you're going to have a bite, see how the cookie crumbles.
Okay, eat Greg O'Connor on television. This is awesome. Maybe this is the content we didn't know we
You
needed.
said it, not us. Yeah, good? Good?
And this is the new moment of the week for
Now
all
let's
of
go
us,
to a break so I can... Delicious, very crumbly, great shortbread, a lot of butter used.
I think we'll come back and get the official review shortly. While Emily is maybe eating that, she's going in for another one. Maybe we'll take you off to Tauranga while she does that. The Tauranga Stakes, the Group 2, won by Bella Waters from Pearl of Alsace, Marley Ston and Ladies Man.
They come to the corner and back with it. Bella Waters homeward bound. 300 metres to go. In right wing, ranged up on the outside of Segundo. Coming through Marley Stone, Ladies Man, and behind them desperately needs room. And here's Pearl of Alsace and out wide Bella Waters. Pearl of Alsace, Marley Stone coming at them. Ladies Man on the inside and Bella Waters. What a great finish. Pearl of Alsace, Bella Waters. Bella Waters beat Pearl of Alsace, third Marley Stone and Ladies Man. The big four went to war and they gave us a great sight.
class came through in the last 150 metres where these 4 very good horses all went to war, and in the end it was Bella Waters and the Wizard of Woz.
She's really come of age, she's relaxed, she just, in fact, too relaxed coming round the corner, and yeah, she's really turned into a racehorse.
Yeah, look, since she's been by Moira, she's really come on leaps and bounds. She was a difficult mare early on, and they've really got her to settle down and do things really right. You know, it took a couple of runs to get that into her, but she's doing it right. I mean, I'm just fortunate to be on these horses, you know.
You're really happy for Moira and Kieran Murdoch. Of course, we took a trip down to the beach with them on weigh-in a few shows ago, so happy to see them get that success. And Jane, Moira in that same interview after the race, I think, said that she thinks that Bella Waters is capable of winning a Group 1.
Yeah, certainly they hold the mare in high esteem. And look, I think terrific result. We talk about it all the time, but Cambridge stud, wearing the colours of a stud where she's probably going to enter the second part of her career. So wonderful for her to get a Group 2 win on her pedigree page. It was an interesting race. On paper, there didn't look like there was a lot of speed, but I thought Segundo set up a really solid speed out in front, which allowed those horses that travelled in the back half of the field to come over the top of them in the finish. And that's exactly where those big guns were sitting through the running. Pearl of Alsace, Bella Waters and Ladies Man also sat towards the tail of the field, and they fought out the finish. Look, nice effort from her. Came round the field and accelerated really nicely. I thought a great run from Pearl of Alsace. Of course, we heard she was served a couple of weeks ago, so that can often reinvigorate a mare. I think the story of the race was probably Ladies Man in terms of the fact that he didn't really get to see clear air when he needed to build into the race, so he probably wasn't fully extended. He's the one that's probably got the black booker sitting on him given the way that he performed. I think it's going to be really interesting where they go with this mare next in terms of, obviously I got to sit in with a handicapper yesterday for the coverage, and when you're jumping from a benchmark grade to winning a Group 2, it means you're probably going to get a little bit slammed by the handicapper because you're rising so many grades and actually winning. So be interesting to see where she sits after the race in terms of her ratings. But I think, you know, exciting that we're going to see a horse like her feature around the Christmas New Year period and look forward towards Group 1 races, Emily.
Yeah, and we've spoken a lot about Cambridge stud in recent weeks, and obviously a mare like Snazzy Tabby picked up a Group 1 just a month or so ago, and for their broodmare band is just such top quality. They're adding so much value to the New Zealand breeding industry with these wonderful mares. I'd love to see Pearl of Alsace win a big race. She's been just around the money so much. She's been racing so well, and they've targeted her at the right races, trying to get that elusive either Group 1 or you know, a big stakes race. And I really hope they can get one before she retires.
Alrighty, well, we also had the Open 1400 at Tauranga as well, won by Sumi St Bathans from Powwow and Make Time. Speaking of rides, Sima Makotwa, who was on board Sumi, which won the race, as Alan Sharrock said after the race, went from hero to zero pretty quickly and then went to hero again by getting Sumi out right about now and flashing home.
Well, actually, the horse relaxed and settled quite nicely in transit. He just needed a few things to go his way in the home straight, and a terrific effort in the end. She's been a good mare for connections. Her first run right-handed, she handled it brilliantly, and I think the team now have some aspirations to head to Ellerslie at the end of the month for the Group 3 Great Northern Challenge Stakes. So she's ticked that box going right-handed. They paid $4,500 for her, and she's now earned nearly $250,000. So I think a terrific result for everybody that's involved with her. Look, St Bathans, he was sent out favourite, a touch keen. I think he looked like he had the race won until Sumi flashed at him late. He hasn't won a race in over 18 months. I guess that's the concern with St Bathans. He probably needed that confidence boost yesterday. A little bit to take out of the race. Stony Brick had a bleed, so 3 months stand down now mandatory for that galloper. And I thought GC, if you go back and look at the replay, had no luck in the concluding stages, was stuck on the fence and didn't really contest the race. So perhaps one to watch out of the race.
Alrighty, well, I mentioned Sima Makotwa. We can hear from him after getting that win aboard Sumi.
Sima and Cortha, congratulations. Boy, that must have been a real thrill, the way that she sprinted home.
No, she went really good. I got in trouble coming around the turn. I wasn't where I wanted to be the whole race. I wanted to be one off, but she had a lot under her. I mean, I had a lot under me, and coming into the straight, I couldn't get a clear run, but eventually a gap opened for me, and she just sort of kicked, and from there I knew we had it in the bag. Yep.
There was a lot of horses in front of you, but when you're able to get to those outside of those runners, boy, she sprinted strongly.
No, 100%. She sort of just gave a kick when she got to them, and she found another gear, and she just kept traveling to the line. And I just want to say a big thank you to Mr. Sherrick. He's been supporting me. Yeah, I'm really grateful, and to the team back at home. Thank you.
Enjoying your time there in New Plymouth with Mr. Sherrick?
Yeah, I'm loving it. It started off as a working holiday, but now I think I'm full-time at the moment with the way things are going. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You're in the right place, that is for sure, Seema. Congratulations. Keep it going.
Thank you very much.
Well done to Seema Makotwa. We can see the right here again. It was heart in your mouth stuff, just as he gets stuck in the pocket about now. Probably wonders where he's going to get to, but you can see him looking out there, really nicely done, and then just spots the gap perfectly and comes out and wins aboard Sumi.
Yeah, issued with a warning from the stewards too for his sort of narrow clearing of the horse in behind him. But look, at the end of the day, he's just played within the rules, and he's obviously got the job done nicely. I think he started with the O'Sullivan Scott team and has transferred to Alan Sharrock. We know how good Alan Sharrock is with young apprentices. I think he's really gone to the right stable to be given a chance here in New Zealand.
Emily, I noticed that cookie's already gone.
I knew I wouldn't get away with this. Yes, it's finished.
It's obviously good.
It was delicious. Good on you, Greg. Produce a delicious cookie. Thank you. I'll be heading back to Christchurch next year for more.
Well, Greg had a big week down in Christchurch, but I'll tell you another man who had a big week, and that was George Simon. Bred a standard bred winner at the New Zealand Cup Carnival down on Tuesday in Marketplace, and then also bred and owns Talent Oso, who won yesterday at Tauranga.
It's Rubera ahead in front from Marketplace. A great finish coming up. Marketplace has gone to the lead. It's Marketplace, the gold standard. Marketplace a half a length. Craig Ferguson gets his Group 1, and it's Riccarton again. That was a horse race.
Massive win for Marketplace, bred by a few people we know quite well on this channel. George and Marianne Simon involved in the breeding of this horse, along with Tony Barron amongst a few others as well. So big result for them.
Kia ora everyone. This is my mate Mark, known to all harness racing enthusiasts as Marketplace. Group 1 winner yesterday at Addington on Cup Day. Who bred him? Oh yeah, I did. Superstar, this horse. Very proud of him. Proud of Regan Todd, Craig Ferguson and the owners. Congratulations to them.
Talentoso, he's 2.5 clear. Tianzi's starting to warm up, so too is Gigi. Talentoso and Taylor Mitchell still in front. Talentoso will get the money in the last. Talentoso, he jumped beautifully and he was dead set trucking. I was loath to say he was trucking, but I kid you not, folks, he was, particularly at the line. Talentoso, lovely ride, lovely training, Shelley, once again. Taylor Mitchell and Talentoso. Oh, it's going to be another big night at Iggy's. It's a wonderful game, this racing game.
Gee, I tell you what, that's a cherry on top for a massive week for you, George Simon. A Group 1 co-breeder of Marketplace out of Addington on Tuesday. Then Talentoso. Oh my God.
Felix and Briasa are fighting it out. Felix Majestic, Briasa, they draw down to the line. Bob and go might be Briasa. Has he done it? He's lunged at Felix Majestic and it's very close. It's the new kid on the block, Briasa. He's got the bob and he's got the hunter.
He just wants to win like he showed today. There's still very much a lot of upside to this horse. He's still raw. And yeah, like 12 months time, I can probably see him in an Everest.
Yeah, he's a tradesman. That's probably his toughest test to date. I think he's got the signs of a very good animal.
That was Briasa winning the Hunter at Newcastle, sat 3 wide and got up very nicely. And as you can hear there, they think that could be a horse that moves towards the Everest. There are a couple other big races over in Australia in Caulfield. Of course, the 1,000 Guineas to start with, won by another profit from Aliana, Tudan, Lizzie and Matisse, Jane.
Yeah, look, probably not the result punters wanted in the 1,000 Guineas. Aliana went out short price favourite off the back of a terrific win in the Carbine Club. Another profit settled into the placings in that race, but certainly turned the result round yesterday. I know the team thought there was a bit of improvement to come from another profit, but she certainly was very strong in the finish. I don't think we can take anything away from Aliana, the New Zealand bred filly. Caulfield probably didn't suit her the way the race was set up. She got back. It took a long time for her to get balanced. James said by the time he balanced her up and she accelerated, the race was pretty much over, but she was flying in the finish, run some terrific sectionals. I think she's a filly that we can continue to follow. Brought up the 50th Group 1 win for Kieran Maher, his 4th this spring, so he's certainly a stable that's going well.
There was also the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes, the other Group 1, won by the Gary Portelli trained Komochi from another Willister party in Southport Tycoon.
A well-deserved Group 1 for this mare. She's been terrific throughout her whole career contesting races at black type level. She was a Group 2 and a Group 3 winner prior to this race. She's been Group 1 placed on 3 occasions, including a second to Jolie Star at this meeting 12 months ago at the 1,000 Guineas. Yulong we saw pay $2.2 million for her, buying her as a broodmare prospect. So fantastic that Gary Portelli can get her Group 1 up for the team. And look, it just cemented what a wonderful spring the Yulong team have had. 7 Group 1 winners. Deny Knowledge came out and won the Might and Power. We saw Via Sistina win 4 Group 1s, including the Cox Plate and the Champion Stakes. Treasure the Moment won the VRC Oaks, and now Komochi with the Sir Rupert Clarke. I guess for us, the story of the race was probably Jimmy Star, who was sent out one of the favourites. Damien Lane came back in after the race and just said it was disastrous. So I think you've only got to watch the replay to see that it was a perfect way to sum up his run in the race. He really didn't get a crack at.
Yeah, terribly unlucky. All right, we'll take another break here on Weigh In. On the other side, we're going to hear from Lisa Allpress. I took a trip down to Whanganui to catch up with her after her fall in August. We hear how the recovery has been and when she might be back in the saddle. Lisa Allpress looks like the same Lisa Allpress the industry knows and loves as she works on her farm just out of Whanganui. But over the last few months, she definitely hasn't felt that way.
I am so much better. I feel like I've been saying to everyone, I'm way better. So I think maybe I was pretty awful before, but I do feel good now, so it's good.
That's because in August she suffered a fall after the line at Riccarton. Sadly, her mount broke a leg, dislodging Allpress.
That's when I broke my back on the track when I've landed, and then I copped a bit of a head injury when someone galloped over the top of me afterwards. Initially, I thought I was just winded, and I remembered sort of being on my haunches and thinking, you know, luckily the field had gone over me and I'd seen a few jockeys canter back and they were like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah. Thought I was just winded and couldn't really get up. And then I sort of remember them putting the scoop stretcher around me and helping me get into the ambulance. And then I vaguely remember Mr. Otham being in the ambulance and Kaylee Myers. And yeah, then next thing I was in the hospital, and then that's, yeah, when things started to get a little bit pear-shaped.
She had broken the L1 vertebrae in her back and damaged L2 and L3.
Like in the hospital, I thought I was fine. I sort of thought, you know, I might not be able to ride for the rest of this week, but I should be right for Sunday. And apparently, I'd spoken to Alan Sharrock and told him that, yeah, I should be good for Sunday. Might just have a couple of days off. Honestly, I can't really, I don't know why I said that.
That was wishful thinking. What she didn't realise was a serious bout of concussion and anxiety was lingering and was about to hit hard when she was flown back to Whanganui in the air ambulance.
But the next day I thought I was fine, and then I ended up going back to bed, and I don't think I got out of bed for that whole day, and my mum turned up.
Lisa sort of growled a couple of people and this and that, and I was like, oh, gee, that's not like her, she wouldn't normally do that. And yeah, we started, piecing the puzzle together, and yeah, she had a head injury, but it actually went worse a couple of weeks after that.
I've never been one that's sort of, been worried about too much of that sort of thing. If you've got to do something and you're feeling a bit down, well, you just get out there and do it. I think it must have been about the 6-week mark, because I just, thought that I could drive, and headed off to town. I got to the top of the hill and just started crying and just felt so overwhelmed about driving the car to town, and I was like, this is ridiculous, and sort of give myself a bit of an uppercut and get in there, and honestly got to town and I was just an absolute mess, and yeah, just awful.
It's meant a lot of downtime on the farm, gradually building back physically, but mostly mentally.
I'm just so lucky to be out here and have the farm. Like, really, it's been a big part of the healing process, because A, it gives me something to get out of bed and do, and B, like, it's such a beautiful place to live. Obviously our house isn't amazing, but we didn't buy it for the house. And you get out on the farm and amongst the animals, and yeah, that's really my happy place.
And as her recovery continues, it leaves one obvious question: when will the 4-time Jockey Premiership champion be back in the saddle?
I think it's probably not going to happen until next year. I rode a horse at Mr Gray's, and I'd really like to get back down there and cruise around. So obviously the 2000 winners is a motivation, and I think if I didn't have the motivation for doing that, I probably would hang up the boots now, because of that. It's only 52 winners,
How proud of you are?
So proud, so proud. I could, yeah. Amazing lady. People said to me, oh God, you're unlucky. Or I think I'm very lucky I've still got a wife. That's how I look at that. I'm not unlucky. I had a wife, she's come home, we'll get her right.
Yeah, and they are getting her right. Lisa Allpress, Carl, thank you both very much for having us, and we did get to eat that venison. It was very, very nice indeed. Just an update, I have spoken to Lisa, or texted her this morning. She's seeing a specialist in just over a week, and there is now a chance that she could be back riding before the end of the year, which would be fantastic to see her back in the saddle. As she mentions, only 52 winners or so until to get to 2000, which would be a great achievement.
Her experience and her ability in the saddle is certainly missed across New Zealand, but probably particularly in the central districts. She's a huge part of that area in terms of what she contributes as a rider. And look, 52 wins for a rider like Lisa Allpress is a fairly easy feat in a season when we see the sort of numbers that she can put together. So it is basically a season of riding for her. I actually thought it was really interesting, the comment she made around if she didn't have the goal to get to 2,000 winners, that perhaps she would be hanging up the boots, because I guess a rider like Lisa Allpress you just always expect to see in the race book, don't you, Emily?
You sure do, and she's been so important for New Zealand racing over the years. And what about the battle that she's faced in recent times, and how she's overcome that? She, she's a tough character, and I think it's really humbling to hear her talk about what she's been through and how she's coping and the support she has around her. So, oh God, thinking of her and really look forward to seeing her back in whatever capacity it is. We just want to see her at her best, and we're thinking of her.
It was a very vulnerable, really honest interview, Guy, and I think really important that people hear, what happens behind the scenes. We know how dangerous it is to be a jockey, and obviously really important for the public to hear what they go through and what they face in their careers that they choose, and the risks that come with it. One
of the most brave professions going around, I think you'd have to say. Well, when she gets back in the saddle, that will probably be my moment of the week, but it is time for this week's moments of the week. Emily, I'll start with you.
I went with the trackside troopers. I had the pleasure of working with the trackside team throughout the week, and they cover all of the codes during New Zealand Cup week. There are some incredible hours, and there are so many people behind the scenes. Guy and Jane, you know this better than anybody. I show up there with my microphone and I present all day and I leave, I walk away. But there's audio professionals, there's sound operators, there's cameramen, there's floor managers, there's producers, there's people and directors, there's people, you know, behind the scenes just doing, you could say, there's people behind the scenes doing so many hours during that week. The quality was exceptional. Their demeanours throughout the week didn't change. They were super professional, so kudos to them. Huge week.
We're not going to top that in terms of a moment of week. There's not a crew that works harder than the crew that is behind the scenes here in New Zealand for trackside. They are amazing. So I 100% agree with Emily. Like, I thought the winner of Tracy Hickley down south yesterday was pretty special. I think really nice when you can see these smaller stables that have a horse that's good enough to compete on the big stage and at these types of carnivals. Tracy only has a handful of horses in the stable, so to have a horse that can win over Cup week, I thought really fantastic for the stable.
Mine, we've already talked about it a little bit this week, was George Simon's week, breeding a standard bred winner, and then breeding and owning a winner there at Tauranga yesterday. Well done to him, one of the great guys in the industry, just so genuinely lovely person, great commentator, knows the industry in and out, terrific bloke, and I'm just so happy to see him get the win. Give that fist pump. Go George, good man. All right. Very quickly, Black Bookers, please, Weight Watchers.
I went If in Doubt Dance, who went down by the narrowest of margins yesterday with Sam Winterboard. Just ended up in front a little bit early. No doubt will be winning again shortly.
Watergate, for me, started its career with Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott in the north. Has had 2 runs now for Lance Robinson down the south and has improved with each run. Look, I think it is a horse with limited ability, but placed right, I think it can pick up another win in the South Island.
And I'm with Ladies Man. We've already spoken about Ladies Man on the show today, and I think certainly a horse to follow going forward. That is it from us for Weigh In for another week. Thanks to Sam, thanks to Lisa for giving her time and opening up to us. Thanks to you two for joining me, and thanks for watching. We'll be back again next week.
It's Mezzabine. Mezzabine wins the New Zealand Cup, getting away at the finish. Aliana's absolutely flying. It's too late. Another profit beat Aliana. Kamachi just in front. Kamachi wins it.